ونبينا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters in Islam, first we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala once again. Allah has granted us the tawfiq and the ability to perform our Maghrib Salaah with Jama'ah. Alhamdulillah. We make dua, Allah accept our Salah with Jama'ah. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us sincerity and istiqamah. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. This evening, my beloved brothers and sisters in Islam, we continue and we start the actual tafsir of Surah Al-Alaq. And as I've mentioned, that Surah Al-Alaq was the beginning of revelation, was the beginning, is where everything started, where the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam started his friendship with Jibreel alayhi salam, who was that malaika or that malak who Allah has appointed to be the intermediary between Allah and the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in terms of the revelation. He is the one Allah has given the responsibility of conveying to the prophets what Allah has revealed. And we have mentioned it was a friendship that lasted for 23 years of revelation when Allah sent this Quran from the first day. And this is Surah Al-Alaq. And we start with the first verse where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that Iqra' bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. That indeed the first verse of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah says, recite in the name of your Lord who created. Recite in the name of Allah, the name of your Rabb, the one who is created. And some of the ulama has mentioned it, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start off this surah, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala start off and introduces himself. This is Allah introducing himself to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he introduces himself as Rabb. He's not saying Iqra, read in the name of Allah. He says Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi. Recite in the name of your Rabb. And some ulama has mentioned, Mufassirun, and mentioned that the mushrikun, that they were familiar with the term Allah. They were familiar with the term Allah. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, where Allah says, Allah is addressing Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. O Muhammad, if you were to ask these idol worshippers and these mushrikun, if you were to ask them, مَنِ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, who is the one who has created the heavens and the earth? لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهِ. They will say, Allah is the one who has created. Imagine Allah is telling Rasulullah, they will tell you Allah is the one who is created. So the concept of Allah, they understand. As being the creator, they understood. But they don't understand, and they don't want to accept the concept of Rabb. When Allah says, I am your Rabb, what does it entail? And we all know, and we've heard many times the ulama explain it, what is Rabb? And Rabb is the one who gives gifts even though he doesn't have to give. So the mushrikun, they accepted that Allah is the one who created. But they didn't accept that Allah is the one who sends down the rain. For that they wanted the idol to worship. They didn't accept that Allah is the one who sustains. So for that they needed the idol to worship for increase of rizq. They didn't accept that Allah is the one who gives children. So they wanted the idol to worship to give them an abundance of children. So when Allah says, Iqra, read in the name of your Rabb. Allah introduces himself to this world, to me and you and to the Ummah, and to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as the Rabb. The one who gives even though he doesn't have to give. The one who is the caretaker, the one who looks after us. The one who is in control of everything. And one alim has mentioned, it's a point for us to ponder over, like how Allah is addressing Rasulullah and telling him that if you ask the mushrikun who created this world, they will say Allah. He said, we as Muslims today, we have reached a state almost like the mushrikun. If you ask who created the world, we'll say, no, Allah created it. But who's the one who sustained? And then immediately the mind and the heart runs to the work. Who's the one who gives children? And then our mind runs to somewhere else. He said, this was the condition of the mushrikun. So for us as believers to say Allah is the one who created everything, this is not enough for us. We as believers, we believe that Allah is our Rabb. Allah is the one who takes care of us. Allah is the one who gives us. Allah is the one who gives us every ni'mah and favor in this dunya. It comes from Allah. And that is the meaning of Rabb. And that's why Allah introduces Himself to the creation and read in the name of your Rabb. Read in the name of your Rabb. And we find that the entire community was transformed by Islam, and Islam started by none other than the command to read. Allah revealed Quran, and the first word Allah revealed was the command Allah gave us to read. And this reading and this acquiring knowledge, this transformed the entire peninsula, the Arabian Peninsula at the time of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Our people who, as the time they were referred to when they lived in, was the time of Jahiliyyah, the time of complete darkness, because of the things they used to do. Yet this Quran came, this revelation came, and it turned everything. يُخْرِجُونَهُم مِّنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. It took them out of darkness into light. So this is the, as I say, the power of the power of knowledge, the power of reading, the power of knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when a person knows Allah and he reads about Allah, definitely that person, whatever darkness is inside of his heart, immediately it will be moved away. You will move into the light. You will see the beauty of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creation of Allah. You will find pleasure in the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first 5 ayat we'll discuss briefly tonight. In the first 5 ayat, these were the first 5 ayahs Allah has revealed. The first 5 verses Allah has revealed of the Quran. خَلَقَ الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ عَلَقٍ. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is bring our focus back to how Allah has created us, me and you. Allah wants us to reflect in how Allah has created us. And Allah refers to us as an alaq. And the ulama mentioned what is an alaq. It means to hang to something or two things which are stuck to one another. Second meaning, it is also used to refer to pregnancy when the fetus hangs to the side of the uterus wall. And thirdly, they say it is in the context of pregnancy, again, it is also used to refer to a leech because the baby sucks the nutrients of its mother like a leech. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to this right in the beginning of the stage of creation of myself and yourself, how we were that alaq, that clinging piece of substance in the wombs of our mothers, taking benefit from our mothers, taking our sustenance from our mothers, who other than Allah, who other than our Rabb, sustaining us at that moment. So Allah wants us to reflect in where we came from, how Allah has created us. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the third verse, اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Again, Allah commands us to read. Read in your Lord, and your Lord is the most generous. Akram, Allah is Kareem. Allah is the most generous. So Allah is commanding again the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to read. And the ulama, they mentioned that the command to read came twice. The first command, the first verse, Allah instructed Rasulullah to read. The second time again, Allah instructs him to read. And the ulama has given interpretation. It says that the first interpretation, one of the meanings is that the first one means to read for your own benefit. The second one here is in reference to preaching it to others. So after Rasulullah finally now he started to read the Quran. And now Allah is reminding him the second time, this Quran is not alone for you, O Muhammad. You need to preach the Quran, you need to teach it to others. In the second interpretation, the first is in reference within the prayer, and the second is in reference outside of the prayer. That the Quran is a place, is a book which Allah has revealed to us, which we read in the Quran, in the Salah, in our Salah. But it's not only meant to read in Salah, it is a book, it is a kalam of Allah that we need to read out of Salah as well. It needs to be part of our life. And the third, they say the first is in reference within the prayer, the second in reference outside, the fourth one, the last one. Some said it was only mentioned twice to emphasize the reading of the Quran and giving it its due importance. Allah emphasizing the importance of the Quran and the importance of reading the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, الَّذِي عَلَّمَ بِالْقَلَمِ. Allah again, they are instructing, Allah say that Allah is mentioning some of His favors upon us. And Allah says, الذي علم بالقلم, the one who is taught with the pen. The one who is taught with the pen. And the ulama has mentioned that they say that there are two methods through which knowledge is imparted. The first one is oral or spoken, the oral or spoken method, or by word of mouth. And this is how Rasulullah received the Quran. Rasulullah couldn't write down the ayat that was revealed. But Jibreel read to Rasulullah, Allah imprinted this Quran in the heart of Rasulullah. Allah imprinted this Quran in the heart of Rasulullah, and then Rasulullah again conveyed this Quran, and Rasulullah he described those people who wrote down the Quran, and they used to take it in that form. So the first form is orally, by listening, word to mouth, and then the second is by pen or written method, where we write down and we memorize and we learn. And then the ulama has mentioned that the scholars have said that there are three types of pens in this world. The first pen is the pen which Allah has created with His own hands. The pen that writes the decree of everything in this dunya. When Rasulullah is mentioned, Rasulullah went on Mi'raj, he heard this pen writing and continuously writing, and it was said that this is the pen Allah has created before everything. Allah has created this pen, and Allah has instructed you write everything that will happen in this dunya. You write the life of every person that will live in this dunya. So the pen, the first pen is the pen Allah has created that will write everything about everyone. The second pen the ulama has mentioned is the pen Allah has created and given to the malaika that will write our deeds. That pen of the malaika that records our deeds. And the pen of the human beings which they use to reduce the speech and writing. This pen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. We use the pens also to write down, to make notes, to put down our ideas, to study. And these are the three types of pens Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So Alladhi allama bil qalam, Allah is the one who taught by the pen. And then Allah reminds us, allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. Allama al insana ma lam ya'lam. Taught man that which he never knew. Even though Allah is the one who's created the pen. But don't for 1 second think you have been given a pen, a Parker pen, or whatever the pen might be. Don't for ever think that that pen, because of the expense of, how expensive a pen was, the more knowledge you will gain. Or the greater your knowledge will be. You can have a pen that costs 1,000 rand. And then you might have, your head might be empty. So the pen doesn't guarantee knowledge. So Allah is referring us and reminding us in this ayah, remember, الَّذِي عَلَّمَ الْإِنسَانَ مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ. Allah is the one who taught insan what they never knew before. It is not the pen that teaches us. Allah is the one who teaches us. Knowledge comes from Allah. Allah has given us the intellect. Allah is the ultimate distributor of knowledge. Allah has given us intellect. And Allah, with the concluding verse, Allah says, مَا لَمْ يَعْلَمْ, has been added in order to make man realize that there was a time when he knew nothing. And Allah mentions to us that once the knowledge goes to the head, then it becomes a problem. That happened to Qarun. That when the people saw his wealth and what Allah has given to him, he said, قَالَ إِنَّمَا أُوتِيتُهُ عَلَى عِلْمٍ عِنْدِي. This was given to me because of my knowledge. What I have acquired is because of my qualifications. And Allah made the earth swallow him in with all of his wealth. So when we acquire, when we gain knowledge in this dunya, we immediately express our gratitude unto Allah, because Allah is the one who has taught us. That's why Allah in the Quran reminds us in the ayah that is on the screen, أخرجكم من بطون أمهاتكم لا تعلمون شيئا. Allah has brought you forth from the wombs of your mothers. And did you know anything? Did any of us were born with any knowledge? And immediately after Allah brought us in this dunya, Allah started giving us knowledge. One of the first things Allah give us, knowledge of the first things, is what the doctors, they can't wrap their mind around it. How that baby immediately, he can't even see properly, but he knows where to suckle from his mother. He knows how to suckle as well. He knows when to suckle as well when he's hungry. So Allah has created us and Allah has given us the knowledge And Allah has given us knowledge as we need it. And Allah reminds us in the last of the first revelation of the ayat that Allah is the one who has given us knowledge. Allah is the one who distributes the knowledge. And while we take the means by using the pen and by whatever method there is, at the end of the day, it all comes down to Allah being the one who has given us the knowledge. And so we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those we will read the kalam of Allah. We will read the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the intention that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should increase us in iman, increase us in belief, increase us in knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to give us a tawfiq and understanding. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah.